Before I get into the subject of today's video, let me state that I've been a very happy Giant bicycle owner for the past 10 years. I purchased and still own a 2016 Giant Defy, a 2016 Giant Trance, and a 2021 Giant Rain. I've also produced a number of videos where I compare the 2021 Giant Rain with a number of its competitors, and I've strongly recommended purchasing the Giant Rain. And I also continue to love riding my 2021 Giant Rain. However, let me get into this nature of this video. During a recent mountain bike ride, I discovered that I had cracked the rear triangle of my 2021 Giant Rain advanced mountain bike again. This is the second time I've cracked the part, and just to be clear, this version of the Giant Rain is a carbon frame, and so is the rear triangle. I purchased this bike new in September 2020, and so have now been riding this bike for 5 years. So the frame cracking is becoming a big concern. Let me now digress a little with my story and share with you how I discovered this crack. I was riding my bike on this trail,
some rock gardens,
and while I was riding, I was explaining that I was suffering a wobble with the rear end of my bike. I had incorrectly diagnosed the wobble as due to low air pressure in my shock, air pressure that I had allowed to reduce from this normal level of about 175 pounds down to about 100 pounds.
Yeah, so the other thing I've noticed was I always check my tire pressure every day. But I don't usually check my suspension pressure all that much. So yesterday I was riding in Ashland, and I dig the big shuttle up to the top of Mount Ashland, and on that descent noticed my rear end was really sloppy. And so this morning I checked my suspension pressure, and I normally run it at 175, 180, and it was only, my pressure this morning was only at 100. So, hence the sloppiness.
Also, if you listen closely to this video, you'll hear a slight rubbing of my rear tire against the frame.
Nice rollers. Nice.
At the time, I didn't recognize this rub, nor the real cause of the wobble until the next day, when following another ride, and while riding with full air pressure in the shock, I got off my bike and discovered this crack, as you now see here. So clearly, I couldn't ride the bike under this condition, and was required to rent a bike to continue riding on my vacation.
So I'm on a different bike today. I'm on the Nolly Chilcotin, because following yesterday's ride right at the very end, I realized that my rear triangle had cracked and nearly collapsed. So the bike is unrideable until I get that fixed. So I'm renting a Nolly Chilcotin, which I got from the Over the Edge guys in Hurricane.
Now let's return to the ongoing problem with the rear triangle. When I originally cracked the triangle, I'd only been riding it for about 8 months, and so Giant Bicycles covered this crack under their frame warranty, what Giant refers to as the lifetime warranty. Giant states that under their lifetime warranty clause, that Giant warrants the frame and rigid fork of each new bicycle and frame set to be free from defects in material and workmanship for as long as the original purchaser owns the bicycle. But further down, and under the exclusions clause, they say the above warranty or any implied warranty does not cover normal wear and tear. However, I attribute this recurring problem due to the slight rubbing on the rear triangle from the heel of my right foot. Here you can see exactly where this rubbing occurs. Many years ago, I had anterior cruciate ligament surgery on my right knee, which has caused my right foot to become duck foot. That is, my toes point slightly to the right, and so my heel tilts slightly to the left. And this left tilt to the heel causes my bike shoes to slightly, almost imperceptibly, rub the rear triangle periodically as I pedal the bike. And so the more you pedal, the more the heel potentially rubs. I discovered this heel problem following the original crack of the triangle. And so once I got a replacement part, I made sure to wrap it with very strong aftermarket frame guard wrap, hopefully to prevent it from happening again. But now it happened again. This wrap clearly wasn't sufficient, and while diagnosing this problem with my local bike shop, they explained that they had a number of customers who also had the same cracked frame problem with different bicycle manufacturers, but where the bike was also constructed with carbon parts. So it's arguable whether my cracked rear triangle is a frame defect or normal wear and tear. If the frame cracked after only 8 months for the first incident, and after less than 4 years, and after I applied a fair amount of frame protection for the second crack, I would suggest that the wall thickness of the rear triangle is too thin as to be sufficiently wearable and warrantable. No one who buys a new mountain bike expects the frame to last only 4 years. And for another data point on this problem, I had previously ridden a 2016 Giant Trance, also with a carbon frame, but where the rear triangle was aluminum. I had ridden the Trance for 5 years without any problems before I bought the Giant Rain. The aluminum rear triangle had some rub marks on it, but it was still structurally sound, and even to this day, after nearly 10 years. Under the circumstances of this second frame crack, I was interested to see whether it would be covered once again. Unfortunately, Giant claimed that the crack was due to normal wear and tear and would not cover the part under their lifetime warranty, but they would offer me a concession by pricing the part at a discount off of their retail price. A saving of approximately $200, but still costing me about $500 for the part and a further $200 for the labor to replace it. So further to this problem and my hopeful resolution, I had hoped I could replace this part with an aluminum part that I thought might be more durable. But apparently the carbon and aluminum parts are not exactly the same dimensions and so not interchangeable. So I'm forced to buy a carbon triangle once again and just hope for the best. I will once again have the part extensively wrapped with a frame protection and will more frequently inspect the area for wear. Here you can see how my bike shop has applied the new heavy-duty frame wrap. My conclusion to this whole fiasco is to decide that my next mountain bike will be an aluminum frame, or at least a carbon frame with an aluminum rear triangle. And while the bike might be 2 or 3 pounds heavier, it'll be much more durable, and I will also save myself thousands of dollars in the bargain. I think this experience provides a warning for anyone thinking of buying a used carbon bike that might also have this kind of frame wear. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.